antagonist who said some very, very bad things about me and actually said lies about me, and he knows they were lies. I did have an email exchange with him as a friend. I did send 1 or 2 emails to him where I explained my position in response to his emails, explaining that I wasn't angry at him, as I had explained online, if anybody's seen that, but that I was disappointed in his character. I felt his utter dismissal of any gender bias or any unconscious blocking of female access to prepping as it's portrayed in our small tiny corner of the world was somewhat surprising to me, because he portrays himself as very charismatic, very much new agey, very much man of the moment, very much open and free. And you know, they have a point of view, their point of view, and the other guy's point of view was that women and men, there's no difference, there's nothing to do with gender in prepping. Women just aren't interested in prepping because they have, I guess, a different brain. Anyway, I don't agree with that. You know, that's their point of view, I don't agree. A lot of the other comments people made, some of them I kind of think have some areas of truth, and some of them just, really, come on, you actually think that? But that's alright. It got people talking, got people thinking, so I'm happy I made the video. Now, from a bug out group point of view, one of the main people here, I was actually going to meet him in May, just popping over the border from Canada into America where he was planning to do some work. And I was going to take Kitty with me. That's the degree of comfort and relaxation and trust that I'd gained from this particular individual online. So between the 3rd and I think about, no, between the 8th and about the 14th of March, the behavior that person distributed to me accelerated, to the point where I actually said to him in a response to one of his flames of me, this is very interesting, I'm going to have to think about this. I did think about it. I don't tend to react like that. And I unsubbed him. And I emailed him and told him why. If I unsub people, I email them and tell them why, or I tell them online. I think I've unsubbed 6 people in 9 months. I don't think that's bad. I think it's pretty obvious who I unsub. I'm not really into drama. I'm not going to pretend. I'm not really into hypocrisy of lying. So that was interesting. And then, of course, he didn't like that, right? People don't like that. Apparently, people don't like being confronted with their actions. But you know what? Multiple posts that were lies and designed to put me in a bad position. I'm not going to go, okay, I'm going to defend myself. But that's another issue. So for bug out groups, if you have a charismatic individual who reacts to personal uncertainty and personal opinions that are counter to their deep held beliefs, if they react to that with aggression and attacking, which is what happened to me from the 2 individuals who were my friends, and that is what they did. It's online. Well, again, what those 2 individuals have done is they have in fact changed, one of them has changed the name and deleted most of their original posts, which is kind of odd. Very reactive that. And the other one's deleted specific posts related to this topic because, you know what, they don't make them look very good. Now they're going to say they deleted it to protect me, I'm sure they do, because that's what aggressors do. But I didn't need you to delete them, and I'm not deleting mine, but that's cool. So what do you do in those situations? So the people who cannot take it on board. Now, for example, if I'm in a bug out group and there's a group decision that we need to have more people, so all of the girls who are under the all the girls from 11 onwards are going to have sex once a month with men in rotating orders. Could be logical, could make sense in certain scenarios. I am not going to agree with that, and I'm going to be vocal that I don't agree with that. The people that want that, and this is an example obviously, the people that want that can just say, okay, you don't have to. Or they can say, well, if you really feel this badly about it, you can leave if you want. Or they can listen to my point of view and have a group discussion and say, you know, we are going to go ahead and do this, but we take your point of view, and blah, blah, blah. And they do it so my honour and my ability to focus and being part of their group is maintained. At the same time, I'm not isolated within the group and they're not isolated from me. What people with low emotional intelligence do is they then attack the person who has a contrary point of view. This happens all the time online. It's started many flame wars because people just have not got the emotional ability to turn around and go, you know what, maybe I am wrong. Think. Oh, I'm right. They're wrong. Oh well, I like them anyway. When you go, they're wrong. I can't take their point of view at all. They're wrong. Okay, let me find every single thing I can imagine and think about that's wrong with them and their channel and make a video and put it up. I'm not going to email the guy first, even though we've been friends online for 9 months, even though he sent me gifts, even though, which I'm not complaining about. The reason I bring the gifts is one of those people is supposed to, I won one of his prize draws back in, way back in 2017, and I've seen sight and the sound of it. Whatever. I don't care. But I just think it's kind of amusing. Because that is something that most people would see as stealing, right? If you win a prize draw and you never get the prize, and they win one of your prize draws and you send them the prize, that sort of thing can cause antagonism. I don't care, right? But I think the seeds of these sort of things and people that do those sort of behaviors, which are low emotional intelligence behaviors, actually become uncomfortable. So this is my point. Over time, the uncomfortability, being made to feel uncomfortable, in people with low emotional intelligence means that they will strike out with great anger at the person that's made them feel uncomfortable, even though the reason they're uncomfortable is their own fault. It happens all the time. And it's sad to see. Now online you can just withdraw, unsub them and have nothing more to do with them, that's kind of fine. In a bug out situation, well, you've got 3 choices realistically. The worst choice is to go along with the charismatic but triggered angry personality and agree with them and suck up to them, and when they pick on other people for various reasons, join in. That's a bad move. That group's unstable. The leadership and the components and how it organizes itself as a community are unstable. At some point the group will be crushed externally or internally, and probably both. The other choice you have is to leave. Now that may not be possible in SHTF. So when you meet with people virtually online and you sub them for 9 months and you trade videos back and forth and you share personal information on email back and forth, etc., etc., and after 9 months those personality types can still attack you in quite nasty ways, you've got to be really careful. So I'm not asking anybody to unsub those 2 guys if you know who they are, and it doesn't matter who they are, right? They're just people. People are people. I'm not asking you to unsub them, I'm asking you to keep subbing them, keep enjoying their videos, keep enjoying their contact and all the rest of it. What I am saying here is really be very careful. I was going to meet this guy in the real, right? I was going to take Kitty, I was going to meet him in the real. I shared a lot of stuff with him online, some of which he's decided to share in the public sphere, which is fine. Now one of the other reasons, so there was two guys, right? So the other one, more than the first one who was just attacking me, and I'm not implying collusion here, I'm not. The other one works by asking multiple questions. Never really answering any questions back, but asking multiple questions. Now that's a standard tactic of the emotionally weak, the low intelligence quotient, because rather than deal with the issue as it is, you invent other issues. And I think both of those guys, to a large degree, wanted me to get involved in a flame war. I don't know why. I think they needed me to prove that I was what they said I was, to justify how they treated me. Because let's face it, guys, up until the 8th of March, those 2 people were very close to me online, very publicly online. We've shared video VRs back and forth and multiple comments. We've been great supporters of each other. And that's great. After the 8th of March, 2 of them decided to just keep attacking me because they didn't like what I was saying and they didn't like how I was saying it. And in terms of one of them, he finds my channel very boring, which was a real shock because he'd said nothing but good things about it for 9 months. So what people say and what people do is often self-interested, and we know that. Now what I do and what I say online is mostly open. Mostly what you see here is what you get in the real. Probably don't talk as much in the real, it's easier to talk like this. Now I'm gonna consider where this leaves me. Now, I was going to go at the end of July, and I was going to meet a whole bunch of people, a whole bunch of preppers online, stuff like that. I'm now wary to do that, and I think for good reason, because these two guys were the two closest guys that I've been to close to online, and they bit me, and they bit me harshly. Now, there's some truth to harshness, right? There's some truth to what they say. I do push a vegan agenda, I do push socialism. I mean, I'm anti-gun for everybody because I think preppers who have guns and most people don't, I think that makes you a lot safer, and I do think large gun ownership, forget the Second Amendment, large gun ownership does mean that some people have guns. Which will be part 2, because I want to talk about addictive personalities. I think it's key in this one, and I think it's key for all of us to look at in terms of formulating bug-out groups. Okay.